Let you talk.
Oh man! All right, well, I'm gonna go live for those guys over there, and then we can pull up our software and get ready to record here.
All right, I'm gonna bring up. I'll mute it, but I'll bring up another window so I can see their comments.
All right, so let's see here. Let me open up my GarageBand real quick, brother, and we can do a countdown.
Hello. Okay, hold on. I was making sure I have levels over here. Hello.
So to let the patrons know that might be watching or even watching it later, this is going to be our top 5 episode, and then Brad and I are going to be talking about Death Wish, which is going to be on the feed because Brad's never seen that, and he finally watched it this week. So we're going to do that after this, which is exciting.
And that's the one with Bruce Willis, right?
Eventually, I hope you didn't fucking start with that one because I haven't even seen that one. That's one that I haven't seen either. So when we get to that one, and I don't know if I've seen 5. Like maybe when I rewatch it, I'll remember like, oh yeah, I saw that one. But I didn't even know there was a 5 or didn't remember there was a 5 until you told me. And then I definitely haven't seen the Bruce Willis one. So we'll be doing those together when the time comes.
I haven't seen any of them.
That's because you have a death wish. That doesn't make any sense, but I just said that. All right. Are you ready? I'm going to count down from 3 and we can start recording, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
I was trying to bring up YouTube. Have you gone live?
Yeah. It's you mean give me the link? I put it on Patreon earlier.
Oh, you know what? It's because it's a private link, huh?
It's unlisted, but anybody that I share it with should be able to use it though.
Yeah, here. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, man, do your thing, brother.
Hey, at least I showed up, right?
Fucking thank you. I was about to log on to Twitch, and if I found you playing Minecraft, it's gonna fucking go off on you. I was like, you better be taking care of his kids.
Let's see. There it is. And click this. No, I want to go to the page. There we go.
You don't see it?
No, I see it. It's just loading. Let me. Whoop. There we go. Had to mute myself.
Heard that. All right. Do you want to record? Go ahead and start recording your track, or not yet? You ready?
Give me 1 sec. Shit. Yeah, we can start. I freaking closed the stupid window like a dumbass.
What window?
One I had open for the chat.
What are you, an idiot? Don't do that.
Leave that open. Yeah.
Leave that open. All right, well, let's start recording, and then you can go back and reopen it, okay? Because we'll have a few minutes here in the top. I just want to get the recording so I don't forget to do it.
You just tell me when to start.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, record.
All right. We are a go.
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test. Testes, as they say.
Testes.
Testes, as they say in the business.
And Rocky Mountain oysters.
I was a little low on my recording with Dan, but I can't tell if that's just because he was yelling at me in anger the whole time. So maybe he was just a little louder.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
Okay, go ahead and open your window that you had. What's up, Jason? What's up, Patrick? What's up, Dan Roski? Promising young loyal over there in the chat.
Got a crew over there.
Yeah, Dan doesn't get to watch all these, so I'm glad he's here, man. He also said he has not watched Loki because he's not an MCU person, but his wife is.
I have not gotten to watch the new Loki yet.
But you've started the series. I was
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Started the series. I just have not watched the newest episode.
It was good, although episode 4 is still the best episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
but that one was good. That one was good.
That one was really good. Yeah, but it was good though. It was good. I like where it's going. I like there's only one left too, so it's not going to drag on. You know.
Yeah. Hopefully they nail the stick the landing, as we like to say. As we say in the biz,
Yeah, the entertainment biz. All right, man. So Patrick says he's just here in case Alexander shows up. He's got my back on that. All right, man. So you know the deal.
Right.
And we're going to do this, and then we'll end the stream, and then we'll do our Death Wish thing, and I'll put that on Patreon probably this weekend. So are you good to go? Do you want to do a beer or do anything, or are you good?
Nope, I'm good. I got my water.
All right, I had a coffee. So whenever we do a little promo break, I might go grab a beer, but we'll get there when we get there. All right, so just give me like 5 or 10 seconds, and then I'll come in, do the intro, and we'll get going. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Two Peas on a Podcast. Gerald here with you, of course. And I had to bring along another P on this pod. My co-host this week has been on the show multiple times before. He's also a patron of the show and an all-around great dude that I love from the world of podcasting. From the Cinema Guys, Brad is here. Brad, what's up, man? How are you? My second favorite Brad, by the way.
Second favorite?
Yes.
Of course. Brad
Pitt, of course. Of course you're behind Brad Pitt. You know
who
that
do I
already.
gotta kill? Who do I gotta kill to move up?
You can't be above Brad Pitt. I mean, come on. No, I'm kidding. You're actually, you and Brad Pitt are like.
Oh, okay. We're real. That's good.
It's a neck and neck situation. So you're coming for his crown, as they say.
Thanks for having me on again. I'm excited to be back.
Of course, man. You know, I had so many shows like backlogged that I had like, you know, in the stash or whatever. And then I kind of was getting used to like, oh, I don't need to record anything this week because I've got so many episodes already recorded and like this and that. And I did live stream for The Cure, and like that was when it started kind of teetering off a little bit. And I was like, oh shit, I need to get some episodes. So one of my go-to guys is Brad from the Cinema Guys because he's always there for me, man. You're always there to lay down a track with me. We're actually doing 2 tracks tonight. We're doing this one.
2, yeah. We're doubling it up.
Yeah, which is great. So thanks for being here, man. And it's always a blast to get to chat movies with you. And I guess we're doing a little bit of movies and music kind of tonight. So why don't you tell everybody what we're counting down tonight? What you picked?
A little mix. We're doing our top dual threats. So whether it's an actor who does music or a musician who is an actor, that they do both.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was your criteria for this? Because I was talking to my wife about it. I was seeking her help while we were drunk at the pool earlier. So maybe that'll come out in my list. I don't know. But we're sitting there talking about it. And I want to hear from you first. So kind of like, what was your criteria? What criteria had to be met to make your list?
There really wasn't one. Okay. If they were an actor and or musician that did the other, as I was kind of searching, I already had a few at the top that I knew right off the bat. They're like, okay, these are my top ones for sure. Like my number one was an instant. But as I was kind of like figuring out others, it was just like, I'm going to go with just people I like.
Okay. Now, did they have
whether it's their music or their movies?
Did they have to be singers or no? Without giving away any spoilers.
I'm trying to think of my list. They didn't have to be.
Okay.
But I mean, I think all of them, yeah.
I think all of mine ended up.
They didn't have to be, yeah.
Well, the only like real criteria besides the obvious, which is what you stated at the top, but the only criteria that I really wanted to kind of stick firm to was that I had to be a fan of both of their careers, like music and movies.
Okay. That's fair.
I didn't want to pick somebody that like I loved them as an actor and then I just like found out that they were in a band or whatever. Like, oh, okay, well that's cool. If I don't know the band or I don't like any of the songs or whatever, then I wouldn't put them on this list.
That's fair, because I think my list is that way. Like I end up liking at least a song or two or from them. So it's Now, it just happened out that way.
Now, one thing I want to ask before we dive into the list is you mentioned to me over on Twitter, we were chatting the other day, that because you pitched me a few, this was one of the ones that we had talked about, and I said, oh, that would be really cool to do, and that was kind of the one that I said I wanted to do, which is the one that we're doing. But you told me this was your least, like this was the one you were least excited about, right? Or no?
It was one that I, when I first thought of it, I was like, well, do I know really that many?
You didn't know there were that many, right? And then as you do
a search, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Like going through them, like, how did I not think of this off the top of my head the other day? And it was, it was actually a fairly easy list to make, but hard to narrow it down.
So with that being said, okay. So I was going to say, so it was hard for you to narrow down. So did you have to?
Yeah.
Did you have to do the whole Google thing, the whole research thing, or they all just kind of flood to you?
There were a few that did, and then some I Googled, and it was like, oh yeah, duh, I love them in this and this. So yeah, they're gonna make my list, and then some others, and then it was just that I got to shift some around and figure it out. I think my list started at like 15 or 20, and I had to narrow it down.
Well, I'm excited to see where we go. What do you think before we dive in here? Predictions for like crossover. What do you think? Do you think we'll have any crossover?
I'm gonna think possibly one or two.
Well, we know each other pretty well, so I'm thinking. You know what, man? I'm thinking in the top 5, maybe one. I think we might cross over.
Okay.
Now the top 10, there might be 2 or 3.
There might be a couple in the top 10.
But let's see. Let's find out. You know, the suspense is killing me, Brad. So, Brad from the Cinema Guys, not Brad Pitt, the other Brad in my life, is here, and we're going to do our top 5 double threats. So these are actors that are also musicians, or vice versa. You know, I guess, depending on where their career started, might be what they're considered predominantly, and then they branch out into this other thing. So we're just calling them double threats. In some cases, they might even be triple threats. I have one triple threat on my list.
Okay.
We'll get there when that comes up. But why don't you get us started, Brad? What's your number 5 double threat, man?
My number 5 is actually my one of my children was almost named after this person. It was really close, and that is Neil Patrick Harris.
Wow. Okay. All right. I dig it.
Like there was a while that my wife and I were. It started as a joke. Hey, let's name him Neil Patrick Hargis. But then we were like, well, would he get teased? I don't know. And we still kind of hung with it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love him. I love him in anything he's done on TV, and he's great in any movies he does. And he doesn't necessarily have like a band or anything like that, but he does a lot of Broadway.
That's what I was going to say. So where's the? So I was going to ask you because I didn't know, honestly. I mean, he could have been a heavy metal singer. I would have no idea. So that's what I was going to ask you what the music piece was, and I was wondering if it was like the Broadway stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of Broadway stuff. So that's kind of a little. I don't know if that's an asterisk that I put in there. He's not in a band, but he does a lot of Broadway music. He still sings, he dances. He's a showman.
He's definitely a performer for sure.
Oh yeah,
obviously. Some iconic television roles for sure. I mean, How I Met Your Mother, come on, that's Barney, the best. And then,
Starship Troopers. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, Starship Troopers. Yeah, that didn't even come to mind right away, but yeah, I fucking love him in that. How about Gone Girl? Whoa.
Well, I haven't seen Gone Girl yet, so.
Oh well, sorry, I won't say anything else then. But he's good in that, so let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
A very pivotal scene that he's part of in Gone Girl. So check that out.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
I'm supposed to do it with Dan, but I haven't. I'm bad at scheduling, so I just haven't done it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're here with me on short notice. You're fine. All right, my number 5 might be a bit of a surprise, man, but I'm going to do it. And this is an actor first, I would say. Really, I would say probably even a comedian first, and kind of like crossed over into that kind of actor genre where we started doing some comedy movies and some other stuff. And then as a musician, it's kind of meta because his music is comedy as well. So he's a comic musician of sorts. But it's Andy Samberg, man.
Yeah, I thought about he didn't quite make my top 10, but I thought of it because I love Lonely Island.
Oh, me too, dude.
I love their music so much.
Lonely Island is so fucking good, man. And, the beats are infectious. It's so witty and so funny and so timely. Like, they always know to pick the right story to, like, really
and
satire,
I know I do. I'm sure a lot of people do. Whenever you go to a lake or something, you have On a Boat in your head as soon as you get there.
Yeah, and then they get to your point with T-Pain and that song, but they get all these great cameos in their songs lately. You mentioned him, Michael Bolton, doing the pirate tune, and obviously Saturday Night Live, right? So. And that's where Lonely Island started to kind of take off. So you have this like sketch comedy actor kind of, but he's done some great stuff too. I mean, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a great TV show that I love. So he's awesome on that. And one of the better comedies of the last decade is Popstar. Never stopping. Did you ever see that?
I have not seen that.
That's so good, man.
But I do love their Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire like mockumentary.
Right.
I thought was hilarious.
Yep, that was great too. Yep. So they know what they're doing. So, he came to mind and I'm like, well, he's one of my faves. He just cracks me up and I get a kick out of him. So Andy Samberg would be my number 5. I love Little Lonely Island. So it was kind of like comedy actor, comedy musician. So it was like a weird kind of blend of both. But I feel like he's been very successful in both avenues. So, yeah, that's why he's my number 5. All right, man. You had Neil Patrick Harris at 4, NPH, as they call him in the biz.
NPH, yes.
What's your number 4?
Number 4, this is I'm trying to think, is it my only hip-hop star on here? But also, I mean, he nailed one of the best Star Wars characters there is, and that is Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. Yeah. And then, he's Childish Gambino in his hip-hop life.
Right.
I don't listen to a ton of his stuff, but I know some songs that I love of his, so it was one of those that it was an easy one to throw on my list.
Yeah, he is such a good actor, though. I mean, he really is. Community.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever watch Community?
Oh yeah. He was great in that.
It's good. It's funny that we're doing some TV actors to start us off here. I didn't expect that. but so far, all 3 that we've mentioned are really predominantly TV actors. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But yeah, he was great on Community. Obviously, I know you loved him as Lando, for sure.
Oh, yeah. He was great casting. As Lando. Perfect.
That was such good casting in that role. And he's good as Childish Gambino, too. There's a tune of his I love called Sober. It's one of my favorite songs that he did. And then Redbone is another good tune of his that I like. So I'm kind of like you, where I'm kind of like a casual fan of his, where there's some songs that I like, but I don't know like his whole catalog or whatever.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen, is it Atlanta? Is that the show that he's in? That I've heard
he was good on Atlanta.
I've heard it's really good. I haven't seen it.
I saw the first season.
Told me to see it.
I watched the first season, and then my TV viewing fell off a cliff when I started doing the podcast and other stuff that were centered around movies. I just don't watch enough TV anymore.
I am the same. I watch more movies than TV.
Yeah, same here. But Atlanta was good. I watched the first season of that, and I dug it. So I've forgotten about that until you mentioned it. So you were talking about Childish Gambino there at 4. So I also have a hip-hop artist at my number 4. And this is a dude that goes all the way back to the 1980s to gangster rap and the roots of gangster rap. But he's been in some really just pivotal movies that really changed the landscape of movies, especially for black cinema. But it's Ice Cube, and that's my number 4, Mr. Ice Cube.
He didn't quite make the list either, but yeah, he is definitely instrumental in that hip hop scene.
Absolutely, man. And then if you look at his movie career, I mean, going back to Boys in the Hood, which would be kind of adjacent to that hip hop career that he had back then.
Oh yeah.
But one of my all time favorites would be Friday with Chris Tucker.
That one's good.
Love him in Friday, man, and the 21 Jump Street films that came out.
Oh yes, I forgot he was in that.
So he has this really cool thing where he can kind of do comedy and action, and he is both at great, and then he's great at both. And then you can look at a movie like Boys in the Hood, and you're like, damn, he's a really versatile actor. I feel like, and then he's obviously an iconic hip hop star too.
And I know your favorite role of his has to be Triple X State of the Union, right?
No. I kind of forgot that movie existed, but no, that's not my favorite.
I think most people have forgotten that movie existed.
Triple X State of the Union, man. He probably was good in that, though. I just can't remember it, but yeah. All right, so there you go. Ice Cube's my number 4, and we're up to our 3s, man. What you got number 3, buddy?
Number 3, this is someone where I think we might end up having a crossover because I could not put him on a list. I mean, we just passed the 4th of July, and I watched one of my all-time favorite movies, Independence Day, and Will Smith. I mean, I grew up listening to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, watching the show. I loved his music. I loved the show. And then he goes to become this mega action star. And I just could not put him on the list.
I get it, man. I have a plot twist with this when it comes up on my list. So I'll hold it. But I will tell you, Will Smith ended up going in my honorable mentions. And there's an interesting little tidbit I want to throw on there when it comes around. But
It was because of Wild Wild West, wasn't it?
No, that was okay. I was okay with that movie. I mean, it was kind of crazy and stupid, but I had fun with it.
Okay.
But to your point, though, Will Smith, I mean, he's like, especially like in the 90s and like 2000s, like he was such a like blockbuster, like draw.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah. It was like the
Men in Black and you already
was
mentioned Independence Day.
Memorial Day kind of, he was the summer blockbuster. It was like, what big Will Smith movie are we going to get? We got Men in Black, we got Independence Day. Wild Wild West was supposed to be kind of failed, but
yeah. Well, it probably made a lot of money though. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but I would imagine it did. But yeah, there you go. All right, Will Smith, good pick, man. I think that's a classic pick, and yeah, nobody's going to argue with it. I mean, he's a blockbuster. I mean, he's a blockbuster draw. He's a magnet for the for cinema.
Oh yeah.
So. All right, so my number 3 is possibly. Well, no, there's one more really. So there's 2 on my top 5 that are like I was fans of their music first, and then their acting career either came later or I got into it later if it had already existed. And I absolutely love and adore and always have been a huge fan of Lady Gaga, right? So she is my number 3. I love her. Now, her film catalog is pretty small right now, or resume, I should say. But the stuff that she's done, she's freaking amazing, dude. Like, she was really good in American Horror Story. She has a stint on that series. She was in A Star Is Born a couple years ago. Got nominated for the Academy Award. There's already talk this year about her possibly getting another nomination for The House of Gucci that's going to be coming out this year. And I've seen some different clips and stuff from that, and I read some things about it. And she's supposedly going to be really good in that, which I imagine she will be. But I feel like she just is like inherently just knows what she's doing. It's just always top quality. You know what I mean? And her music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Her music and her voice like really affect me. Like I really am affected by her music, and I've always been a big fan of hers. So I put her on this list predominantly for her music career, but everything I've seen her in so far out of Hollywood as well, I'm also impressed with. Are you a fan of Gaga?
I'm a fan of her music. I can't say I have seen much of her. Like I've never seen an American Horror Story. Star Is Born is one of those blind spot movies I didn't watch.
You didn't see Star Is Born? That was in my top 5 of the year that year, brother.
Oh, and I have seen like the photos of her in the Gucci film coming out, and I mean, from the photos, just the style looks amazing.
Yeah.
So
Star Is Born is a just awesome. You got to see it, man. It slaps.
And her music is like just the way she evolves from album to album to like from this dance poppy dance star to like she compelled out some notes.
Right. I agree, man. I agree. And like I said, for her and for one more, music first, but I am impressed by what I'm seeing from the acting side too. So Lady Gaga is my 3, and we're up to our runner-ups, Brad. You've got NPH, Donald Glover, Will Smith. What do you got at number 2, man?
Number 2, it's probably predominantly a TV star again, but she has done movies. And after when I found out she is in a band, I became a huge fan of her music, and that is Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
Her with She and Him. Yeah. I love the music that they do. Like it's very chill and just very like she's got a great voice for it. Yeah. And one of the first things I remember her in is obviously Elf.
Yeah.
And her, singing in that, and then we got New Girl. She was huge in New Girl, and
don't forget her best role. Don't forget her best role in The Happening. Jesus, that was for Julio whenever he listens back to this. No, I love her too, man. And interesting story. I got to see She and Him. My sister introduced me to that group, and M. Ward is the dude, and then Zoe, and there's kind of like this boy girl duo. And anybody that likes like oldies music, which is weird, but if you like oldies music, I think you'll really like She and Him. And or like Amy Winehouse type vibes. But yeah, I got to see them at an auditorium at UNC Chapel Hill, the university here, close by where I live. And it was like, I don't know if I had to guess, maybe like 300 people could fit in there. And I got to see them there with my sister. It was amazing. It was like a student-only thing, and she got me in. It was great. One of the coolest concerts I've ever been to. Very intimate. And then,
I feel like that would be just something they're just kind of just sitting up there lounging.
They're just chilling.
They're just chilling. They're gonna sing. Hey, we're gonna sing another song for you. Is that cool?
Yeah, exactly. It was so cool, man. And then like, I don't know, maybe I would say within the year from seeing that show, she like blew up and was just like this giant name, and she was everywhere. So it was really cool too that I was like able to get it on the ground floor, because if it had happened a year later, it would have been sold out. There'd been no shot
Yeah.
that I would have been able to go. So she brought her kind of like acting popularity to She and Him, and I think helped their record sales and stuff like that a little bit. But it is a great group, and I do love them. Yeah. And I do love them. So cool pick, man. And she's the girl next door too. The perfect like quirky girl next door.
Oh, she's one of my, my wife and I have a top 5 that if the top 5 were able to okay. Well, do our million nights.
Well, let's scrap this episode and do that then. All right, let's go. What are our 5? All right. No, good pick, man. Zooey Deschanel. So my number 2 is the other performer on my, or celebrity, whatever you want to call it, on my list that I was into the music first and then really got into his acting. And anyone that knows me is probably just like basically waiting for me to list this person, but it's Justin Timberlake. He's my number 2. And you'll find out why he's not my number 1. But of living performers, he would be my number 1. So active, that are still, making music, doing movies. Now, I mean, his music career, I think, speaks for itself. I don't really know if I have to even really say anything about that. No. I mean, obviously he started with NSYNC and then branched out to do his solo career, which has been, I would say
gigantic.
Yeah, arguably one of the most successful male solo artists ever. But, kind of modeled after like the Michael Jackson sound or whatever, kind of mixing R&B with pop, and it's just been really successful and very experimental too in the later part of his career musically. Like, he's done a lot of different sounds and different things. He didn't stick to the same kind of formulaic pop recipe, which I really appreciated too. But as an actor, he blows me away, man. I mean, he's funny. And I don't know if you've ever seen him host Saturday Night Live, but he's really funny.
Oh, yeah, he is.
When him and Jimmy Fallon get together, it's like literally a dynamic duo, just like basically being themselves, just joking around, and it's just hilarious to watch. And then he's good in dramatic roles too. I mean, he has a really memorable role in Social Network, which is one of my favorite movies from 2010. He was in this movie that I love called Alpha Dog. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
By the way, tidbit, Alpha Dog is one of the few Bruce Willis performances since The Sixth Sense where he actually performed pretty well.
Where he actually gave a shit?
He actually acted pretty well in Alpha Dog, but he was opposite Harry Dean Stanton, and I had read that he had so much respect for Harry Dean Stanton that he like really tried in his role in this movie, because he plays Harry Dean Stanton's son in the movie Alpha Dog.
He's like, I'm going to try this time, guys.
I really like this actor. I don't want to, embarrass myself. But he was really good in that movie too, which is not always the case. Anton Yelchin is in that movie. But Justin Timberlake plays this kind of like thug guy with these tattoos all over his body, and but he's a very tender like friend to this kid. I definitely recommend Alpha Dog to anybody that hasn't seen it, because it was underseen at the time. It came out in 2006. It was directed by Nick Cassavetes, which is a pretty popular filmmaker. So if you want to, check out Alpha Dog. I do own it. I think it's a great movie. Everyone should check it out. But Justin Timberlake was awesome in that. So I think he's a great actor. He's really funny, and then I love his music. So I've always been a big fanboy of his. So I think you probably knew he was on my list, right, Brad?
Yeah, and this is another one. He didn't quite make my top 5. But he is in the top 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's one of those that we listen to his music all the time. My kids love his music because it's upbeat and they love dancing to it. And he's a solid actor. I mean, even he goes from semi-action roles like what was it, Out of Time, which actually isn't up in time. Isn't too bad of a little low budget sci-fi film.
Olivia Wilde, that's good.
To like a really good, serious, dramatic actor, and his Saturday Night Live stuff, like Dick in a Box. That's
Lonely Island again.
Skit. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
great. And then he's had smaller roles too, but they're always memorable. Even Social Network was a smaller role when he played Sean Parker, playing a real life person. Inside Llewyn Davis. Did you ever see that Coen Brothers film?
I did not.
He's in that with Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan, another actress that I love.
I don't know who that is. Who's
sure you don't. But yeah, Inside Llewyn Davis is good. He has a small role in that. So I love Timberlake, man. He's a great actor, and I think his music kind of speaks for itself. So he's my runner-up. So
All right.
There we go. We flew through it, man. We're up to our number ones. Let's hear it, Brad. What you got, man?
My number. You want me to go through my 5?
We'll do that. We'll do that after when we come back from break.
Okay.
You know that, Brad.
Number one. It's been a while. It's been a long day.
All right.
Number one. I knew of his acting before his music, but I became a bigger fan of his music first before really becoming a fan of his acting. His band is probably in my top 10, if not close to my top 5 bands of all time. Oh. And that is Jared Leto.
Okay.
And he's a phenomenal actor, but 30 Seconds to Mars, I absolutely love their music.
Okay. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so that was immediate when we were like dual threats. I was like, Jared Leto's going to be number 1. This is easy.
What, are we going to talk about the Joker, or we're not going to do that? We're going to talk about that now, or no? Yeah, no, he's in my honorable mentions. So I do think he's a great actor. I'm actually binging the television series My So-Called Life. Did you ever see that in the 90s?
I did not.
So that was where I guess he got to start. Him and Claire Danes were on that show together. And it's just like a coming of age, like high school, romantic comedy type show or whatever. And I'm going to be going on a podcast with Ashley from Rabbit Ears to do that show. So I've started rewatching it, and I haven't seen it since the 90s. And it's crazy to see Jared Leto as Jordan in that movie. It's just, or in that show. It's just crazy. But he is a great actor, and he's an honorable mention. So I don't know the music though.
One of the first movies really that really stands out that I remember him is Fight Club.
Yeah.
Being, the pretty boy that, he completely just beats up.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's another one that until he took off in his career, he would have those smaller roles. Like I remember him as one of the victims in American Psycho, just playing like one of those Wall Street like douchebags or whatever, but he did it so well. And obviously,
and now you put him in a movie. Yeah, you put him in a movie. It's like, oh, let's see what Jared Leto's going to do to this role, kind of thing.
Right.
Like the Joker.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What the fuck did he do? I don't. All right. Sure.
But 30 Seconds to Mars, like I was a fan of theirs since their first album. I love their music. I still listen to their music all the time. So.
I'm sorry to say, I just don't know a lot of their catalog. I mean, I know a couple songs. I remember The Kill. I like that jam when it came out. But I just don't know enough of their tunes. Okay. But he did make my honorable mentions really 90% because of his acting career. So I do love him as an actor. I think he's a great actor. I think he gets a bad rap at times. I don't know if it's because of the Joker. I'm not trying to be funny. But I know lately in the last few years, he does get a bit of a bad rap. And then some people, he was under some fire for the Dallas Buyers Club role because they didn't cast an actual transgender person and all that.
I mean, he was great in the role.
He was, absolutely.
Not to take anything away from that, but yeah.
I agree 100%. I think it was him and McConaughey were great in that movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. They both were great.
All right, so Jared Leto, you're 1. Let me make a note so I don't forget. I wrote not Joker as your number 1. All right, my number 1 is a freaking legendary classic that, I mean, there's no way that with this category, in my opinion, this guy is the definition of a double threat, and it's Elvis, the king of rock and roll, motherfucking Presley, okay? Is my number 1. Are you an Elvis fan, Brad?
I like a few songs, but I'm not like a big fan.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's obviously an oldie but a goodie type situation. But in my household, man, it was like we eat, breathe, sleep Elvis. I mean, my mom and my dad were super fans. My grandparents were super fans. My grandparents took my parents to see him in concert many times. They had memorabilia from the shows, and like all this stuff was all over the place at my grandparents' house on their mantle. I mean, it was crazy. It was like a shrine to Elvis at my grandparents' house. So we just grew up, my parents would spin those vinyls. We would watch these movies on VHS tape. And he was really the first, person to really do that, where he was successful in both areas, equally. Like, he was so successful as an actor, mostly in the 60s, a little bit in the 70s too. And then he was obviously so successful as a musician too. I mean, there's a reason why he's called the king of rock and roll, So, but he was the first one that was just kind of like intertwining that stuff. Like he would do a movie, like, Blue Hawaii, for example. He would make that movie, and then literally the entire soundtrack would hit number one, like every song on it. You know what I mean? So while the movie, so it's like while the movie's out and people are buying the tickets to see the movie, the soundtrack's charting and making millions of dollars. You know, so it's like he was just so prolific in both realms, and it was unheard of at that time. I mean, there were some even older people like Bing Crosby and Gene Kelly, and like there were some people that did it. But nobody did it on the scope of Elvis, like the quantity of movies that he was putting out and the number of singles that he was releasing and that kind of thing. And then for me, it's really nostalgia and just the connection to it through my family. But as soon as I thought, I mean, there's absolutely no way that Elvis could not be my personal number one on this list as a double threat. So there you go.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not a huge fan. My family didn't like Elvis, so we never really listened to Elvis in the house. So I'm on the opposite end of that. So
those damn Hargises, I tell you, over there spending 30 Seconds to Mars and hating on Elvis.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable. But I love you.
We were spinning, Kenny Rogers and watching The Gambler.
Oh, well, that's not bad
in the Hargis house. So.
I'll take it. That's not bad. All right, well, there you have it, guys. Those were Brad and myself's top 5 double threats, actors that are also singers or vice versa. That was fun, Brad. I'll tell you what, man, we're going to do a quick promo break because we haven't done that yet and because Daddy needs a beer, all right? So I'm going to go do that, and then when we come back, we will wrap up our top 5s for everyone, and then we're also going to give some honorable mentions and possibly see what the fans had to say over on social media, okay? So sit tight, and we will be right back. All right, Brad, I'm going to leave this running while I go grab a beer. Is that cool?
Daddy needs a beer because I said, Elvis is okay.
What the fuck's wrong with you? You're praising the Joker, and then you're like, oh, yeah, my house fucking hates Elvis. Like, what? All right, I'm going to grab a beer and do that, and then I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
It's coming, Patrick. Don't worry. And I completely forgot about Requiem for a Dream. He was amazing in that movie.
Brad, oh man, I just sold you out to my wife, dude. I forgot to mention on the episode that she's a huge Elvis fan too. So I was in there pouring my beer, and she's like, "How's it going?" And I was like, "Oh, it's going good, except the fucking guy I'm interviewing on this episode doesn't like Elvis." And I just told him. And she goes, "Who is this guy?" And I go, "Brad from Ohio." And she goes, "Well, Brad from Ohio is going to get some nasty comments when that episode drops." So I don't know.
Great. More 1-star reviews are coming my way.
Here they come. I got to get that fucking shirt, man. I want to get that Cinema Guys shirt. All right. Anybody say anything over in the thing? Let's see. I don't want to ignore peeps. What do they got going over there? Oh, it's Patrick. My dude.
Patrick's hanging with us.
Okay. So he says, what's my favorite Lonely Island song? Probably Lazy Sunday. That's probably my favorite Lonely Island tune. Lazy Sunday, I would say.
Mine would probably be On a Boat, just because it always gets in my head.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's a earworm for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Let me come back in here, Brad, and then let me get back to let me pull up Facebook real quick, actually, so I can have that ready to go. And then I'll be able to do the suggestion box at the same time. And where are you at? You motherfucker.
Whoa.
Not you.
Waiting for your wife to storm in and be like, how do you hate Elvis? From the other side of the garage.
Yeah, she's over there waiting. All right, man, let me come back in and then we'll wrap up our 5s and then we'll do our honorables, okay?
Cool.
All right, guys, welcome back. As I said pre-break, Brad is here from the Cinema Guys, and we just did our top 5 double threats, which are actors that are also singers, and it was a lot of fun. But I just want to remind everybody, Brad, so go ahead and wrap up your top 5 and tell them what it was again.
All right, my top 5, we have NPH, or Neil Patrick Harris, Donald Glover at number 4. Number 3 was Will Smith. Number 2, Zooey Deschanel. And number 1, the Joker himself, Jared Leto.
The fucking Joker, man, I tell you. My top 5 was, number 5 was Andy Samberg of The Lonely Island. My number 4 was Ice Cube. Number 3 was Lady Gaga. Number 2 was Justin Timberlake. And my number 1 was Elvis Presley. So there we have it. And now, we only do 5, but I like to round out my top 10, as you know, Brad. What about you, man? Do you have any honorable mentions over there?
I do. Like I said, I think it was before we recorded, or when we started, that I had like a list of like 20 that I narrowed down to 10. So I have an additional. So you want me to just roll them all off here?
Yeah, just do your 6 through 10. See what we got.
6 through 10. So my number 6 would be Hugh Jackman.
Okay. Is he a good singer though? I don't know. What's happening there? I mean, he can sing. I mean, he's a fucking better singer than I am. I'm just saying, is he like a recording artist? I mean,
again, Broadway.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm asking. I honestly didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, he's Broadway. That's where he would get his music from.
All right, sounds good.
My number 7, Jennifer Hudson.
Oh yeah, she's good. She's on my list too.
And then number 8, Justin Timberlake.
All right.
Number 9. This one might surprise you. Mos Def.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, he's good. He was in Italian Job. What else was he? He's been in a couple things. Yeah,
he was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's right.
Was it Be Kind, Rewind? He was pretty good in that one.
Yeah, no, he's good.
And I love his hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my number 10 would be Meatloaf.
Oh, nice. I didn't think about him for this. That's nice. I like that. All right. Well, you mentioned most of mine. However, you did not mention the Queen, Dolly Parton, which would be my number 6. Love Dolly. Best Little Whorehouse of Texas. 9 to 5 was obviously a groundbreaking, iconic movie in the 80s.
That was a popular movie in my household growing up. That was one of them.
There you go. Now, you mentioned Will Smith earlier, right? So my number 7 is another actor that was in Independence Day, and another actor that I really like, and I like his music career even more than Will Smith's, and that's Harry Connick Jr. What do you think of that?
Okay. All right.
What do you think of that?
I mean, no, he is a great what do they call him? A swooner? Is that what you would call?
He's a charming guy. He's a charming guy.
Yeah.
And so Harry Connick would be my number 7. My number 8 would be Jennifer Hudson, which you already mentioned. My number 9 would be Will Smith, which you also mentioned, and my number 10 is Jared Leto. So there you have everything but the Joker, but nonetheless, I put him on there. So Jared Leto would be my 10. All right, Brad. So I'll tell you what, to end every episode, we'd like to head over to social media and see what the fans had to say in the old suggestion box. Guys, if you have not joined up yet, please check the show notes and join up to our Facebook fan community, because that is where I interact with our fans the most. Let's see what they had to say over there in the suggestion box, Brad. Okay, so I said, who are some of your favorite double threats? Actors who are musicians or vice versa? Joey Austin said Flea of Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he ends up in those roles where he's like dying. He's a victim, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever. But he is a crazy bastard. He always kind of stands out when he's in movies.
He's crazy in music and crazy in the movies.
That's right. Yeah,
he's Flea. So
that's right. Joe Ketchum says Timberlake, Lakeith Stanfield, Donald Glover, and Mandy Moore. I didn't know Lakeith was a musician. Did you?
I did not.
I didn't either. That's interesting. I had to look that up, Joe. I didn't know that, but he's a great actor, that's for sure. Michael Hill, buddy of mine, says Lin-Manuel Miranda, which did not come up tonight, which I'm surprised with In the Heights being very popular right now. But what do you think there? Because my wife actually mentioned him too. I know you like Hamilton, right?
Yeah. He's again another great Broadway singer, and he writes great music. He has great songs. I loved Hamilton. I know you weren't huge on it.
No. My thing with Hamilton, don't put that out in the world, Brad. Holy shit! I don't need that coming down, raining down on me.
No, that's okay. My co-host Justin wasn't a bit. He was like, Hamilton,
Yeah, my thing with Hamilton,
he was great in Mary Poppins Returns.
That's true. My thing with Hamilton is that I did like it. I think the hype just messed it up for me. Like there was so much hype
Okay,
around it.
I mean that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Like
it was just like I heard about it for like 4 years. Like finally saw it. So the hype just kind of messed me up a little bit. But he also has Julie Andrews, Zendaya, Dolly Parton, Donald Glover, and Will Smith. Zendaya's a good one. She's coming on hot lately. Malcolm and Marie, Spider-Man.
And the thing is, I don't know if I know any of her music, so I don't know if I could.
Yeah,
put her on the list.
she's a good pop star. I only know a few songs, but I know she's definitely like one of the newer people that could be kind of categorized into this list. Let's see here. We only got a couple more, but Dan Truly says Chris Christopherson, Abby Cornish, and Idris Elba, who I also did not know was a musician. Did you know that?
He is, and
okay.
The few, I think, songs I've heard, they weren't my favorite. I'll just leave it at that.
What kind of music is it? Like R&B or what?
Well, I've only heard him on featured with other artists, and I'm like, I don't know if this is working for me.
All right, because I didn't know that. I have to check that out. I know he did that Netflix show where he was like a DJ or whatever.
I think on the I know you're a big Fast and Furious fan.
Do you now?
The Hobbs and Shaw soundtrack. I believe he has a song on.
Oh,
that.
Good Lord! Well, that's got to be a banger. Oh man. Let's see. David Powell says the answer to this question and most others is Tom Waits.
I mean, he's a good actor.
Yeah, Tom Waits is a good one. He actually would probably have been like about 11 or 12. I actually consider.
And he's always that character, the like rough and gruff, just like guy that you just kind of like go and talk to, and he's got that grumbly voice. And
for sure. Mario, patron and friend of the show, Mario. He says Justin Timberlake is a great actor and a great singer. He just needs to find the right role and get his Oscar. And then he also added no one. Yeah, I think he could get one someday for sure. He also added, which I thought was cute, no one better say J-Lo. So I guess he's not a J-Lo fan. I don't know if that's...
She probably would have been in the top 20.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind her. My wife actually mentioned her too. I don't know. I just don't... I couldn't think of, besides when she portrayed Selena, I couldn't really think of any, like, aside from, like, rom-com type roles that I wasn't really a huge fan of.
There wasn't enough that really, like, oh, I got to put J-Lo on this because I love this movie and this movie. And there's a few songs I enjoy. Right. But, yeah, roles, I'm like...
I mean, she's hot. I mean, especially for 50.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's banging. Dan Roski, top tier patron of the show, a promising young loyal. Yeah, the one and only Dan Roski. He says David Bowie, Dolly Parton, Justin Timberlake, J-Lo, and Jamie Foxx we didn't mention, which I'm surprised.
We did not, no.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is a great actor. Django Unchained obviously won the Academy Award for Ray and sang a lot of those songs in Ray. He did some hip-hop tunes, I believe, in the early 2000s as well. He was like a pretty prolific hip-hop singer himself. Kind of like, almost like the Weeknd type, where it was like kind of half R&B, half hip-hop.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised we didn't mention Jamie Foxx. Did you consider him for your list?
I mean, he pops in my head, but yeah, he didn't quite make it just because I don't know enough of his music, really.
Well, that's fair. Let's see. Jenny Markle says Jared Leto, Henry Rollins, and Dolly Parton. It's a good trio. And then we will end with my friend Lauren Scott. She's got a pretty decent, kind of well-rounded list here. She says John Travolta, Sabrina Carpenter, Kristen Bell, John Stamos, what? Olivia Newton-John, Kristen Chenoweth, Dolly Parton, and Justin Timberlake. And then she said there's absolutely no one better to be answered for this list than Julie Andrews. So there you go.
It's true.
Yeah, you can't argue it. I mean, Julie Andrews.
I'm surprised that nobody put out the other Joker out there, Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, his portrayal of Johnny Cash and singing that was...
To walk the line, yeah, for sure. Well,
but has he, besides that?
That's what I was saying again. Yeah, that's what I was saying again. For me, it was tough because it was like if I didn't, if I wasn't like a fan of their music and a fan of their acting, then I kept them off my list. I had to be a fan of both. So I don't, aside from Walk the Line and him doing the Johnny Cash songs, it's not like they were Joaquin Phoenix songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was why he wouldn't have been eligible for my list. But he's a great actor. It was a great portrayal in that movie.
Yeah.
All right,
he's
Brad.
an okay Joker.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got nothing on your boy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Well, this was a blast, and it always is when you come back, Brad. I really appreciate it, man. Now, if anybody doesn't know, tell them what's going on over there. Tell them where they can find you and the rest of the Cinema Guys team.
Well, the Cinema Guys, it's myself and my co-host Justin and the Cinemaiden. We're just three friends that chat movies. And you can find us on any of your podcatchers or head over to wearethecinemagays.com.
Hold on, Dan Roski. I might take this out in the final product, but Dan Roski, I guess he put a J-Lo joke in there and I mentioned it or missed it. Hang on. It's my boy, so I want to find this. This is my boy. He says, he did. He says, J-Lo, I was really struggling to fit her in on this list since it might be controversial, but it turns out there's always room for J-Lo. Oh, there you go. Maybe I will leave that in, Dan. That was pretty good. All right. Brad, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you being here again. Thanks. And we're going to actually be talking right after this. We're going to be talking about Death Wish for the patrons. If you guys are interested in that, look for the patron link down below in the show notes. But Brad, as always,
first time ever watch.
That's right. For that. That's right. I'm here for you, man. Your first time. You know I got you. We'll cuddle after. It'll be great. Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, as always.
All right, guys. We will be back next week. We will have another top 5 and another P on the pod. Everybody take care. All right, man. I'm going to...
Bye.
You can stay here. I'm just going to end the YouTube live. Guys that were watching, I love you. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
And our Death Wish conversation will be on Patreon probably this weekend. I hope. might want to ask my son that, but I hope that he'll let me do that. All right, let me end this.